Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm the short one, Derek Master.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. We go over the horror news, and Derek cosplays as Short Round from Temple of Doom. How are you guys
That's how
doing
I
this
roll.
evening?
Doing good, doing better. I've had a crappy couple of days, so I'm feeling better now.
Derek's had a rough couple days too, haven't you, buddy?
I have, man. My back went out. I have been stiff as a board, getting terrible night's sleep. It's been rough. I was talking to somebody today, and I'm like, I don't know what I would do if that was my life. Like, I don't know how
Yeah,
people deal with chronic pain. Anyway, now I'm a little off subject, but yeah, it's been painful. It sucked.
yeah. I've had a lot of back problems, and I feel that for sure.
I have it. I have back problems from carrying this podcast every week, but I'm getting over
Oh my gosh.
it. We got a lot to talk about because this week, in case you didn't see the thumbnail or pay attention, last week we were doing James Cameron's Aliens, 1986. A great year. Some would say the most important year. But before
That's
we
when
get
you were
into
born.
that, it is the year I was born, correct? That is correct. By the time this airs, I will have turned 27. Don't do that math, but my birthday is coming up. Um, but guys, before we get into Aliens, we got to hit a little bit of the horror news. And I've got a slate of horror news here, guys. Let's start with this because this is pretty interesting, big news. You remember that Evil Dead movie, Evil Dead Burn? It's coming out?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have a release date of July 2026. July 24th, 2026 to be exact.
Hell yeah.
So, we're getting another Evil Dead movie, which we knew we were getting it, but now we know when. So next summer, we will be definitely rocking the new Evil Dead movie, because that's what we do here. There'll never be a time that I'm not going to see a new Evil Dead movie, right?
Right?
I really enjoyed the last one, and we'll have to do that when we get to it. We have to get through Fede's remake, and then we have to figure out what we're going to do with Ash vs. Evil Dead, because we've got to talk about it, because it's fucking great. Guys, this is interesting. So, when I when you think of people with work ethic, who do you think of in your life? Because to me, the word work ethic and never stop doing what you need to do describes
Jay
Ridley
Cutler.
Scott. Get out of here.
Oh.
Describes Ridley Scott to a T. The man is in his 80s and makes like 2 to 3 movies a year. And speaking of Sir Ridley Scott, he's directing a post-apocalyptic thriller called The Dog Stars that stars Margaret Qualley, Jacob Elordi, and Josh Brolin. And Guy Pearce. It is about Hig, a civilian pilot living a lonely life on an abandoned Colorado airbase with his dog and a tough ex-Marine. When a random transmission beams through the radio of his 1956 Cessna, the voice ignites a hope deep inside the pilot that a better life exists outside their tightly controlled perimeter. What do you guys think?
Sounds cool.
I
I'm
mean,
picturing
Ridley
it.
Scott doesn't really do anything bad, so
No. No. He's never.
I'm
No.
game.
Ridley Scott doesn't make bad movies. He's too good at this point to make bad movies. He might make some that aren't as good as previous Ridley Scott movies, or some that are better than other Ridley Scott movies, but fucking too good to just make a flat out bad movie now. I mean, that's like, being a chef. At a certain point, your food may not be as good as other food, but definitely always going to be good, I would feel, right?
Hmm.
However, the counter argument to that is M. Night Shyamalan is directing a new movie.
Me and
I don't know
Derek
why
are
you're
laughing
laughing.
at that.
Yeah, no, I mean he's had a couple of good movies recently.
Yeah, I mean, but
You know, no
he
one
also made
bats
Trap just
1,000.
recently. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that when we get to it. But M. Night Shyamalan is directing a movie called Remain that is starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Set for October of 2026. It's a supernatural romance thriller. What? That he that he co-created with Nicholas Sparks.
Oh.
So
Sounds
he's a
pretty
Sparky,
good.
huh?
This sounds wildly terrible, but let's go with it. When a New York architect, Tate Donovan, arrives in Cape Cod to design his best friend's summer home, he is hoping to make a fresh start. Recently discharged from an upscale psychiatric facility where he was treated for acute depression, he's still wrestling with pain of losing his beloved sister. She, on her deathbed, says she can see spirits. I'm not reading this. This is fucking like 3 paragraphs. I don't know why it's so long. So she can see spirits, and he starts to see them. He takes up residence at a historic bed and breakfast and encounters a beautiful young woman named Rin, who will challenge every assumption he has had about his logical and controlled world. Interesting.
I don't know where they get that depression is cute.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So anyway,
Don't know about this one, guys. I mean, we'll see how it goes. As Jake Gyllenhaal, who's great always. So, I mean, I knew Derek would be down. He's a Sparkhead. Aren't you,
hey,
Derek?
I have read. I've read a couple of them.
Yeah. Derek's read like 5 books in his life, and 3 of them are Nicholas Sparks books.
I mean, that is a true statement.
Yeah, it's very true. That's hilarious. Guys, let's get on to some good shit, because Eli Roth has a new horror movie coming out called The Ice Cream Man. I don't know if it's any relation to the Clint Howard one, but
Your ice cream.
The Ice Cream Man is something we've got to do eventually, because it's fucking wild, right?
Yes. Perfect summer movie.
So let's see what this is about. It kind of doesn't really say. It says it's a horror movie. Obviously, the story is of an idyllic summer town descending into madness when an ice cream man serves kids sweet delights with horrifying results. It kind of sounds like the Ice Cream Man.
It kind of does,
Maybe.
yeah.
I mean, a little bit. The Ice Cream Man's also kind of like mentally like unaware of what's going on, right? I mean, that's his whole thing. He's not what you would call an attractive man.
Mm.
Okay, just a couple more here.
Clint.
This is some guys. Never Hike Alone, Ghost in the Fog. Teaser trailer is just being released, which is the first ever Friday the 13th animated film. It's a fan film from the makers of Never Hike Alone. What are we thinking?
Nice. It looks good. It looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it was cool as hell. Excuse me. Yeah, those Never Hike Alone guys freaking kill it, you know? Womp Stomp Films, they crush. Vincent DeSanti, who, you know, is co-directing it with Juan Rivera. He did all the Never Hike Alone fan films. Those are great. And we'll probably do them on here at some point once we run out of Jason movies. But they're great. Hopefully, we'll start getting some more Jason movies so we never run out. But we'll see. Cross that bridge when we get there. Are you guys down for this?
Definitely. I'm kind of curious about horror cartoon.
Yeah. And then finally, this last bit of horror news. As we know, the Conjuring, the final Conjuring movie, is upon us, or it's supposed to be the final Conjuring movie, The Last Rites. And the trailer dropped today. Looks good. It's a looks like a Conjuring movie. So obviously neither of you have seen that.
Nope.
That's the thing that
Dang
happened
it.
today. But also, James Wan was talking about it, and it looks like that damn Crooked Man movie is still trying to be made. Um, he's still keeping hope alive. He said, I still have a movie in my head that I would definitely love to get off the ground one day, but we'll see. I get fans that reach out to me every now and then begging us to make a Crooked Man movie. Just as a fan, I'd love to do it one day if I can convince the studio to do so. So they thought the Crooked Man was going to be the Annabelle for Conjuring 2. But obviously, that's not what happened. The Annabelle for Conjuring 2 turned out to be Valak, the nun. That was the breakout character.
Yeah.
Because I think the Crooked Man kind of sucks, if you want me to be honest. Right? He's not that interesting.
I don't think he sucks. I think he's really creepy, but in a very childlike way of like the imagination you have to have in order to make a character like that be in any way scary. That's just, I mean, he's just proportionally so unrealistic.
Yeah,
Well,
it's kind of like
yeah,
an
but
unstained
here's the
Candyman.
thing. Yeah, here's the thing. Like, as soon as they made that damn painting, like, it was fucking game over.
Yeah.
Because that painting is a haunting painting. No one would
Yes.
have made that unless they were, like, doing it for a movie, because it's terrifying.
It's so scary. It's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Juan says as much when he says, that they thought the Crooked Man was going to be Annabelle, but he said, but when the audience saw the movie, they wanted to know more about the nun. That's what they gravitated towards. So you got to listen to your fans and you got to listen to the audience. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just like a no-brainer, man. Like, that nun hit, and it's just like, wow, this thing is scary as hell. And it looks great, and it's got such, you could do so much with the backstory of it. Um, but they made 2 movies out of it so far. So, yeah, I think they made the right choice. But I would be interested in seeing anything in the Conjuring universe, of course. I'd be down with it. And that wraps up the horror news. So, guys, you don't have to picture it, but picture it. It's 1986. In May of 1986, I'm born, and I'm just running along. But picture it. It's 1986. It's been a long 7 years since Ridley Scott's Alien hit the screen. So 7 years ago, Alien hit, right? And then 7 years later, you find out, oh, there's a sequel to Alien coming out called Aliens. And it's directed by the director of The Terminator, James Cameron. Huh. Wonder what this is going to be about. And you're expecting claustrophobic horror, space dread. And instead you get a balls to the wall action flick with some suspense and some horror sprinkled into it. As I was watching this tonight, and we'll get into the movie overall, but as I was watching this tonight, I couldn't help thinking about what this would have been like watching in the theater in 1986 when this thing came out. Because it had to have been some sort of like a mind fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Let's talk about our first experience with Aliens. Is this either of your first time seeing Aliens? Oh, you've never seen Aliens before, Lydia.
I have never seen this movie. Can you believe that?
I cannot.
I can't either, honestly. I'm kind of pissed about it that I have never seen this because this would have been so up my alley when I was young.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I didn't know you have never seen this.
I actually know so much about this movie though. Like I know a lot about this movie and I had just never, like, circumstance never happened to show it to me.
Sit down and watched it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I do, but, like, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is the scene where, the effects did this, or, all the technical things about this movie.
Yeah, and it's in the zeitgeist.
Very much aware.
Yeah, it's in the zeitgeist. It kind of is, because it was a really big movie. Derek, this obviously is not your first time watching Aliens, right?
Nope, it's not my first time watching it. And actually, rewatching this movie because it's been a while. When I think of Alien, this is actually the movie that I think of. And the things that Lance Hendrickson,
Hendrickson?
is it Hendricks? Yeah,
Hendrickson.
he Hendrickson. Yeah, he is always the person I think of as the android,
Well, yeah,
not
Bishop.
the other guy.
Ash?
Yeah, and then and we'll get it to the fight scene at the end. But I always so when I think of aliens, this is the movie I always think about.
Yeah, so I've seen this movie tons of times as well. Actually, I was talking to my wife today about it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Aliens this week," and I said, I've seen it a bunch of times, but I'm still going to watch it because it gives me an excuse to watch Aliens. But I was like, it's been a while since I'd watched it. I watched it maybe 2, 3 years ago. About maybe 3 years ago. It was before Connor was born, so 3 to 5 years ago probably. I put it on because I just got Alien, so I watched Aliens. So I watched this when I was a kid, of course. But the first Alien movie I watched was Ridley Scott's Alien. So to me, that's my touchstone to Alien is Ridley Scott's movie. Also, it leans more horror, so I think that's kind of why I was always about Alien. And it's like just a masterclass in suspense and terror. But Aliens, I remember the first time I watched it was with Joey, my cousin Joey, because he was talking about it. He kept talking about Hicks. Just kept mentioning Hicks. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be Hicks." And, you can be somebody else and I'll be Hicks. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? Who's Hicks?" Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because we play, like, Ninja Turtles, right? And
Right.
we'd play all these other things. But he's telling me to be, like, Hicks or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, it's not like you're saying be Raphael. I know who Raphael is, But, so he's like, "You never seen Aliens?" I said, "Oh, Alien? Yeah, with in the ship and everything." He's like, "No, they have a second one, and it's called Aliens." I was like, "Well, that's confusing. That's just one letter difference, but okay." So I watched it, and was like, "Oh, so this is like a kick-ass action movie." I see. I was about maybe 8, somewhere around there. And then I was like, "Alien, you're right. Aliens rules. Aliens rules." Let's start by talking about the cast. And we can't talk about the cast without talking about our star, Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley, who is awesome, fantastic, right?
Yep.
So fantastic. Like, out of this world. I love her performance in this movie so much.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Dope.
She looks incredible. I love the outfits she ends up getting in. That fucking leather jacket. She's just the coolest. When they put her in the bomber jacket, and she's so assertive, and I love that 57 years had passed, so she's been like floating in space, and like the whole world's changed around her. And they have to. I like how the first act of the movie is them trying to get her to go back, and she's refusing until she's like, "I'll do it to make sure that these other people don't go through what I went through," essentially. But Ripley's great. She has an arc where she, gets tougher as the movie goes on. She becomes more and more, her maternal instincts kick in, and she becomes like, a super badass because, she doesn't have a daughter anymore, so Newt becomes her surrogate daughter. It's just great stuff. Great stuff. So Ellen Ripley is like
Whoa! Back up, because I don't think they fleshed this out, and you would have to have remembered enough about the first one. So did she have a daughter in the first one?
Yeah. Yes, she has a daughter in the it's talked about. So it's like a line of dialogue essentially. That basically it's like it's in the extended cut. It's not really in this version, but in the extended cut, they talk about that because we see in the extended cut of Aliens, we also see that like she receives a photo of her grown-up daughter, and it's like, oh, so all of that is kind of fleshed out in the extended cut. So in the theatrical cut, It's not really mentioned. But that's why we get that, like, I mean, that's why it's such a powerful arc for her, is that she is, you know, regaining her motherhood, essentially, her maternal instincts. So she finds a surrogate daughter. So yeah, in the extended cut, it's talked about Ripley's daughter. In the theatrical version, it's not really there so much, but yeah, she is she receives the photo of her grown daughter, which actually is played by Sigourney Weaver's mother, which is interesting. That's the picture, is Sigourney Weaver's mother playing her daughter.
Nice.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, because she'd be in her 50s.
And look like her, probably.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, Ripley's great.
She's so great.
Let's
She's so
talk-
cool.
So let's talk about our Marine. So we have our Marine characters. We have Hicks, played by the incredible Michael Biehn, who's the best, right? Come on, it's Kyle Reese, guys. It's Johnny Ringo. Michael Bihn's always great. Every time I see him, I feel happy.
Why,
I'm like,
Johnny
yeah, he's great.
Ringo.
Looks like
Like
somebody
you've
walked
seen a
over your
ghost.
grave.
Or walked over your
Line,
grave.
Derek. That's your
You
line.
look like
from,
you've seen a ghost.
Yeah, that's your line from fucking I Saw What I Saw. Why, Johnny Ringo? Looks like you've seen a ghost.
We
Classic.
see where you were drawing from there now.
Yeah, now we see it. Now we got it.
A little bit of Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's it. So Hicks is great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hicks is great. Michael Biehn actually was a replacement. By the way, James Remar was actually cast as Hicks, but had a bad drug problem at the time. So he was booted off the set, essentially. If memory serves. I know he was obviously fired. And Michael Biehn was slotted in his spot because, of course, he's a good friend of James Cameron's. So he just kind of filled him in to do it. Also, we have Lance Hendrickson, like you mentioned, Derek, as Bishop, and he's great in this. Bishop is such a cool character because he's like the total opposite of Ash from our previous one. He's less analytical. He's more, human. And he's a straight-up heroic figure in the movie. They make you, question him just a little tiny bit because they're playing with your expectations of Ash from the previous movie. Mm-hmm. And then he just completely blows those away by risking everything to save the people.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. In watching this movie, and I'm sure that it was intentional, there's always an element of him where you are unsure of what side he is on. And it's definitely the way that the character was played. So it had to be the direction that Lance was given. But
Correct.
I did notice that. You're always like,
that's
is he going to do something?
Yeah.
It's because
that's probably why he was cast, because he's just really great at that. That.
Yeah, that, and I mean that's the kind of idea, is to kind of play with the audience's expectations, because Ash was bad. Ash was, evil essentially. I mean, I can't be evil because he's programmed, but you know what I mean. Whereas
he was
Bishop
just following
is the
the
opposite.
program.
Yes. Yeah. So he's great. And then we have the great Bill Paxton as Hudson, one of my all-time favorite characters.
Oh my God.
How great is Hudson?
He killed me in this movie.
Game over.
Yes. What a crazy character he's playing in this. I love it. I love seeing him.
Well, there's a line I forgot about that makes me laugh when I watched it today. So he always has his little rhymes and stuff. The one that's the worst, that just made me laugh, was "Stop your grinning and drop your linens."
Yeah, I caught that too. I was like, that is not an expression.
That's not an expression. Anybody says, James Cameron, what are you trying to do to us here? You're just making shit up. You're trying to find things that rhyme.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, because it's like sometimes when you're watching a space movie like this, you're like, why are they saying the expressions that are our old expressions? They probably wouldn't have any of those. So that was kind of a fun one of Oh, well, I guess that's what they say there.
Yeah, the hop in the crater and eat your taters. Let's go. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Not a thing. But yeah, he's great. Vasquez is great. I mean, wearing a little bit of brown face, which is kind of interesting.
Is she? I didn't. I guess I didn't pay that close
She
attention.
is. She is. Actually, she is the stepmother in Terminator 2.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't
Yes.
see the resemblance.
Well, the resemblance is the face.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
I
see
kind
it.
of like her character in this.
Oh,
though.
no, Vasquez is
she's-
excellent.
I like how tough she is. Like she's
Yeah.
really like just
She's super cool.
show me where they are and I'll take care of it. Like
Yeah, she's great. Vasquez is great. This was actually her film debut.
Dang.
Janique Goldstein.
That'd be a good film debut.
Yeah, so again, like I said, her name is Jeanette Goldstein. So she's definitely not a Hispanic character.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, she acted the hell out of that because I did not
Yeah,
even
she's great.
suspect.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't do that today.
No.
But yeah. But
Unless you're Robert Downey Jr., who played
Yeah,
a
but that's
character a
done
lot
for
like
comedic-
their
that's-
sergeant.
Yeah.
that's done for comedic effect and to make a point about how ridiculous that is. But
That's
let's talk about Paul Reiser. What do you guys think of Paul Reiser in this? As Burke?
I mean, he.
He's great.
I feel like he
He's
did a
so
good
slimy.
job. Yeah.
He's slimy.
Yeah. He did a great job. He definitely came across as the character that he was portraying, and
Yeah, you
You
want
know.
him to die. You're ready for him to die
Yeah.
when he
oh
finally
yeah,
meets his maker.
especially. I mean, he's not over like he's not to that point until the scene where they're
Yeah,
napping,
Till the face hugger scene.
and then you're
Yeah.
just like, all right, bro,
You gotta
I
go.
hope You,
You gotta
Well,
go.
I hope you.
And even before that, he said something about like not destroying them, and I was like, "Well, you are breaking your promise. That
Yeah.
you literally promised that you were here to destroy them, and
That was
that's
the point. That's why she agreed to come along.
Yeah,
You know,
sneaky.
he phone calls her, and she,
yeah.
pops
By
out.
the way, no amount of
Uh-huh,
money.
uh-huh.
I would have been a garbage person for the rest of my life. There's no way I'm going back in space to that planet.
Derek, don't
Yeah, but
sell
she had
yourself
to
short.
face
You're a
it.
garbage person anyway.
She had to face it, or she would have to live with the nightmares
Yeah, I
would've-
forever.
Yes,
lived
she
with
had
it, I
to
wouldn't.
face her fears. I'm with you. But, we're also not Ellen Ripley. We're not badasses.
Speak
She
for
had-
yourself.
Look at Lydia go.
I had to. I'm sorry.
But
It made me sweat saying that out loud.
she's like, I would run away really quickly. I'm just kidding. I was covering my eyes during this whole movie. Well, the only thing that would have to happen is fucking Ghostface would have to pop out at her and it'd be game over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ah!
The nightmares all flooding back.
No, but this thing, so like the first app, we don't see the aliens for the first hour of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I timed it. We don't see it till the first hour. So the first hour of this movie is getting to know the characters, setting up the plot, but it's not boring. You're not
No.
like counting down the time for the aliens to come. Like, when's something going to happen? Because these characters have us engaged, and we're engaged in Ripley's story, and we're finding all this other stuff, and we have the grunts and their conversations, and all these kind of James Cameronisms that kind of draw us into the world that we're in the kind of background. And this movie looks incredible, guys. It looks great. And there's a 4K transfer of it. It's actually up on Hulu, and it looks incredible. But like the scene, even the opening scene where we first meet, we see Ripley in the sleep pod with Jonesy. That probe that comes through with the blue light in the smokes flowing through it looks so gorgeous. It's so cool. I was like, well,
Yeah.
don't make movies like this anymore. Like
I
that's just
was, yes, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, dang, that is sharp. That is so sharp.
it's beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, we the first for the first hour of this movie, it's all getting to know our folks and setting up, and then they arrive on the planet and start investigating. They still hold off on the aliens for a little bit. We don't see him. We don't see him. And then they find Newt and they rescue her and kind of starting to piece together what happened here. And then they go and they see the pulses, so they go and investigate, and then the shit it's the fan. And we get our first action scene with these suckers. And Lydia, this is your first time watching this. So what'd you think of this first alien attack?
I was like, damn. Because I was just, I'm like, obviously I'm familiar with the aliens themselves, so I know what they're up against. And I'm just like, one, she did not get out her full warning to these people because they were too busy talking shit to each other and joking and everything. And she does not explain to them like the terror that they are about to come up against. And all you see is like their cameras just like ah!
Yeah.
Like for like a solid 10 minutes, and I'm just like, yep, they're all dead.
Yep, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Yeah, I loved it. I really loved the whole scene. So like their reactions, like the guy's reaction sitting there, and she's like, "Do something."
Yeah, and he's just sweating because he's like never really been in battle before, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hicks has to kind of take over because he's the hardened veteran.
Yeah.
And their sergeant eats it. Yeah, it's great stuff. The xenomorphs in this look incredible, by the way.
They really do. They look so good.
They're so cool. And
they're like sculpted like slightly different than what I feel like they were in the first one.
Yeah, I think that's to make them be able to be more nimble and move more.
Well, that and like their head, like their like head structure, like their skull or whatever has like just like different ridges and like different, like I feel like the other ones were just like kind of smooth. These ones had like jagged, like
they've been through it. I think maybe
I don't know. They looked really cool.
Yeah, they look great. And then once this point starts, the action just doesn't really we have like Ripley comes in and saves them. We have that big action beat where they run over the alien. That always makes me laugh. But like that whole action beat is great. They lose most of their, most of their crew. And when the one dude gets Vasquez's partner gets freaking the acid on his face, and then he catches fire. It's good stuff. Because that's what makes the xenomorphs so cool, is that like they're so hard to kill without causing massive damage.
Yes, like without killing yourself in the process.
Yeah, so the acid blood is such a cool idea. I don't know how that would work physiologically wise, but it's a great concept for sci-fi fantasy.
Well, there are animals who like spit acid.
They do spit acid, yeah.
Not necessarily bleed acid, but like some kind of chemical reaction. Like I'd buy it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool as hell. But yeah, great set piece. And then we get like that claustrophobic, whole middle act where they're just kind of trapped. They're trying to figure out how to get out. We have Bishop crawling through the tunnel and stuff.
I hate that.
God, that tunnel's so scary, right? It's like the smallest tunnel possible.
Yeah, but he's a synthetic.
Yeah, luckily, but like he said, he's like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah, maybe he's synthetic, but I'm not stupid. Because he feels fear. He doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to die.
I would never be able to crawl in that tunnel. I'd have to face the xenomorphs for sure.
Yeah, it's so scary. And then, then we get that set piece where with the face huggers, which is incredible. The set piece with the face huggers is so intense, right? Ripley's basically locked in there, and Burke has released him because basically she calls him out, she bitches him out in a couple scenes before, like literally punks his ass and says, you know, we're gonna kill them all, and then and also because he's like, well, nobody will believe this or whatever. She's like, I'm gonna tell them that you're smuggling them in, and
Yeah.
so they're gonna know, and there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, sit down, bitch boy, is kind of what she says to him, and
Yeah,
he
but
does
that kind
because
of
he's
backfires.
well, he does sit down because he's a sniveling coward. He's like, whip my ass for sure. But then
He's
yeah,
got to
then
figure out a way to get rid of her.
well, he's got to. It's two birds, one stone, right? Because
Hmm.
he's got to find a way to smuggle the aliens in, and the way to do it is to impregnate somebody, so it's incubated, put them in the cryo sleep, and then when they wake up, the incubation will, you know, it'll be there, and
Hmm.
then he'll jettison, gonna jettison the military out so that way he can make up whatever story he wants. He's a hero. He makes all the money. He has this super soldier serum that he thinks is gonna. The fact that they're trying to like weaponize the xenomorph is fucking wild to me. Like, what are you talking about? But
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I had a point here. Let me think about what it was. Um,
we'll put a thought bubble in that negative space above your head.
there we go. No, so if you are him and you know her past, like there's really no logical way for him to convince her. Because I
Yeah,
mean, she came on this trip for moral reasons. I mean, she can't
yeah,
be bought. It wasn't because she wanted to be reinstated necessarily, like but yeah, he's a fool in many ways, but that was like wrong tree
yeah.
buddy.
So this scene with the face huggers, and what do you guys think? Lydia, it's your first time watching it. How are you feeling in this scene? Intense?
Oh man, yeah. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, I was almost to the point where I was like up, like yelling, like I'm like, get out of there, you know. He's like trying to break the plastic, just barely putting some scuffs in it. I was like being my first time watching this. I was ready to watch this movie. I was so excited that we were doing this, and I was like, I closed all the curtains. I made it as dark as possible. I lit a candle. I like had like it was like a theater experience, you know. Like I blasted the sound on the TV. I was like, I wanted surround sound and everything, but I don't have that. But so it was intense. It really was intense at a lot of those moments like that, especially. I mean, the
Yeah,
whole movie is really pretty intense.
it is. I love this scene because of like just the little moments, like the face hugger, like she throws it down and it scurries up and after her, and she's like throwing stuff and backing away. It's like such a scary thought of this thing. And as I was watching it, as it pops up and she's like this, holding it up, I was like, I'd be like, mouth closed.
Yes, I literally yelled, "Close your mouth!"
But yeah, it's so like such a scary concept of this freaking just
Yeah,
creepy crawly thing. Facehuggers,
yeah,
I think, in a way, are scarier than xenomorphs
I think
because
so.
there's just
Yeah.
like this kind of they could be
Whoa.
on the wall right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A
I
xenomorph,
mean,
you would
they're
in a lit room, you're gonna see a xenomorph because it's like fucking 8 feet tall.
yeah.
But these things, they could, it's kind of like a wolf spider or something. It's just so scary. But I love this
Well,
intensity
and
with
it's
it.
the doom that
Yeah,
is like if you get impregnated with one of those, you are completely screwed,
you're done.
and you are
Yeah,
gonna suffer like the worst kind of painful death of like birthing one of these things out of your chest.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's
so good.
terrifying, and that's the thing that she's living with is like imagining that every single night of like
It
that
then
thing just coming out of her chest,
I love
out of your
that.
sternum. Like, ugh, you hear the bones breaking and
And
terrible.
then I love that. So Burke turns off the monitor like a bitch, Derek,
Yes.
and then so she gets the brilliant idea to use uh, the sprinkler, a lighter on the sprinkler to set off the sprinkler system, which would alert them.
Hmm.
And so they go there, and I love that he's like, shoot it, and they shoot it, and Hicks just fucking dives through the window. Looks so good. It's so cool. And then they, Vasquez and Hudson take care of the two face huggers. It's so good. Such a cool scene.
It's one of the only times where smoking will save your life.
Well, she technically wasn't smoking, Derek. She just used
She
a
just
lighter.
had a
No,
lighter.
she was a smoker. No, there was
yeah.
She was
Yeah,
a smoker, yeah.
She was a smoker, but in that particular
She-
scene, she wasn't. Yeah.
She at least liked to light cigarettes and let them burn all the way.
While she's asleep, she pulls the bill. She pulls the bill, Derek. Isn't that the bill?
It is the bill.
When Derek used to crash over at Joey's house, he refused to sleep on the couch because there was cigarette burns on the couch from where Bill had fallen asleep.
No. What? Not necessarily cigarette burns. There were
But that
ashes.
was a thing too, right? Yeah.
I mean, there were cigarette burns on that couch for sure, but there were ashes everywhere.
That is
Look at
so scary.
It's so disgusting, man.
Look at Derek. He's
Gross.
freaking out. That's his ghost face.
Might as well have spiders all over the place.
Yeah, it's a good stuff. So the third act to this thing, you guys, is like well, leading up to the third act, and the third act is amazing in this thing because this chase when they're basically crawling through, trying to go through the tunnels and stuff. I mean, we lose Hudson finally. The whole time he's just been bitching, and he finally eats it. But when they're running, when basically Burke gets his comeuppance, it was great because he locks him out like a bitch, and just won't let him in. And then he meets the xenomorph, and it's not a good day for him, right? Were you cheering at this point, Lydia?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was just like letting all the emotions fly. Like I was like yelling, like when Hudson gets. I was kind of like laughing because I was like, ha ha ha, like like you're doing it, dude. Like
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like Bill Paxton. I was like, that's such a cool death to have in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, good job, So I was like, yeah. And then I was like, he's getting it. Now, they're running. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Dude, when they run through like the vent, when the freaking xenomorph is crawling down the vent, is so cool. It's so creepy. I was like, ugh,
Yes.
I hate that. Just
Yeah.
And so they're taking him out left and right until Vasquez has to shoot, pin the one up against the vent with her foot, and she shoots, and it, she acid burns her.
Splashes her.
Yep. And so then the the commander comes back for her, and they're kind of cut off. So they blow themselves up in a heroic death. That's a great scene, right?
I mean,
It's
that's
so
how I would
great.
do it.
Yeah. So good, right?
Letting those guys eat me.
Yeah. I think, it really says a lot about, the editing of this, too. All the shots are so perfect that you really don't miss anything.
No, the geography is very clear. Yeah.
Yes, and there's no confusion, and I appreciate that so much because how many movies have we
Lydia.
done on here that we're like, wait, what just happened? I don't know, I missed it. What happened?
Lydia,
Rewind.
that's how
And
they used to make movies.
I know.
So you could see what was going on. It's a wild concept.
I know. Yeah, all the splashes, people getting splashed with acid, that they just got splashed, and it's it's so fast, but you still are completely aware.
So we used to know the geography of things, and then the Bourne Supremacy came out, and that became a trend for the longest time, was just shake it. And you're like, I don't know what's going on, but it's fast cutting, and there's a bunch of kinetic energy, so something has to be exciting.
You're like, must be cool.
Well, and they do that to amp the,
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
The geography is always important. You've got to set the geography so you know where the hell you are, where the characters are, where the camera is in relation to those characters, so that way when they run from point A to point B, you're like, they need to make it to point B. It's a clear destination, So you knew exactly that Vasquez was behind them. We specifically see her at the end of the line, and then we know that we know the order of everybody else, so we know that he's the one that doubles back, and then we know that because camera right is back towards the tunnel, camera left is back towards the opposite way. So when that thing pops up on camera right, we know that they're blocked in. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right.
Yes.
Editing and camera
So
work.
good. It's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
I
It
was
just,
so
I
thankful that
mean,
it was not confusing.
yeah,
it also doesn't help that, or I mean, I guess it helped them. No surprise, James Cameron was the director of this movie, so
yeah. He
he
knows what
knows a
he's doing.
little bit about filmmaking, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. He just kind of knows what he's doing, and that's
Yes. And the fact that Ripley is following a child and like listening to the child is such a big deal to me. Like I was like, it's just relieving because it's like you have to put your trust in someone who knows
yeah. And
instead
she
of
survived here
instead
for
of
a
just
long time. Yeah,
yes, like she realizes that this child has survived for a reason, like and just follows her lead and I'm just like that is so cool to me. That never happens in movies either.
yeah. It's a good stuff, and so they get separated from Hicks, or Hicks and or Newt gets separated from him. And we have that whole bit. Um, and then Hicks gets splashed with the acid, so he's out of commission. And obviously they have to go save. They have to go save Newt. Well, Ripley does because Hicks is out of commission. Bishop has to get the transport ready and stuff. He's like, "We're not leaving yet." She said, "We're not leaving yet." I've got to go get her, and she goes into fucking badass mode. And
Oh
this whole
yeah.
third act rips. It rips. Lydia, when she goes and saves Newt the first time, and she kills all those aliens, and then she turns around and realizes she's in the egg room. Guys, come on, right? What a shot reveal.
Yes. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for that. I was like, I want to see the queen. I want to see the mama.
Yeah, and how great is the design on the queen? It's fantastic.
It's so good. It's so
Hmm.
gross. Like
She's
it's
so
just
scary.
ugh. It's so nasty. It's like it is.
She's
It's very scary.
she's
Like
so
her face
scary.
kind of comes out of like the
The shell almost. Yeah,
shell, yeah, like the armor plating.
it's so cool.
She's like,
And
"Who's out there?"
yeah, and it's like she's there with her egg sac and everything, and I just love that standoff. Like there's just unspoken communication between this creature and Ripley, where
Yes.
she fires the you know flamethrower, and the queen screams, and the xenomorphs start to kind of move in on her, and then basically she holds the egg hostage. So she calls the xenomorphs off. So she negotiates her way out of it, and then she's like, "Fuck it," and just takes the flamethrower and grenades to this whole egg factory, and we get explosions galore and a bunch of cool action before the queen takes off. And once that queen starts moving, and she cuts them off, and it's so scary.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, it all ended well for them as well as it could, but you could have just left well enough alone because they're gonna get destroyed anyway. That whole place is going up. I would have just
Well,
turned and left.
I think she decided to do that because she saw the
Therapeutic.
one egg opening.
Yeah,
She
she saw
saw it
one opening.
open,
Yeah,
and it was like we're about to be swamped with these like crawly things
yeah,
that are
with the
so
face huggers.
fast.
Yep, the face
Yes.
huggers are
Mm.
coming. There's that, and also, yeah, it might go up, but you don't know if you're going to get all of them, so you might as well
Yeah.
make sure you take care of it yourself.
Oh yeah,
But
Yeah,
definitely. Like the
and
blast radius
also,
was
also, there's
huge.
there's also there's no guarantee that they would have let her. They're not going to let her go. They're still going to
right.
try to come after her after she leaves that egg room. So if she takes that out, makes chaos, she's destroying the eggs, she's eliminating the threat, and she's causing mayhem. So that way they have more pressing matters than her and Newt, so they can get the hell out of there. And then I love the shot of the transport rising up behind her, and then Bishop kind of being like, "Come on!" Such a great like little reveal. That's what I'm saying. I imagine watching this in theaters, and I was just like, "Oh man, I bet you that scene was fucking badass." And
It
then
was.
you know we think if there's one alien trope besides, of course, just the stuff that is an alien, acid blood, xenomorph coming out from the dark kind of thing. There's always an extra third act, a fourth act almost. Surprise, Hanukkah, because it happens in every one. An alien, you think it's over, and then a xenomorph comes back, and she has to push it out of the air gun. In this one, we think we're done. We get almost like a wrap up. We check on Hicks, make sure he's all right. Ripley and Newt follow Bishop out, and we're having a little. She has her basically her respect to Bishop moment, where she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm coming around to you. I trust you. I've come around." And then he gets stabbed through the back, and we realize, oh, the Queen is still here because she was hiding on the transport, and we have our real third act where it's Ripley versus the Queen in a mech suit. Guys, come on. Right?
Yeah.
Get away from her, you bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah. In the way it reveals.
Yes.
Get away from her, you bitch. It's so cool, right?
Yes, dude. So cool. I loved it.
Oh, and the fight's
This
fun.
is when I was cheering for sure. I was like, yeah, get her.
And the fight's so cool. It's so slow but deliberate because the machine's so heavy.
When
and
she
so
grabs
you feel
her,
the weight.
she
Yeah.
grabs, pinches her.
Yeah. And its second mouth is at her. The tail's trying to get her. It's so cool.
It's so cool.
And the fact that she opens up the airlock, so she's like, I've got this. I know what I'm going to do. And then the Queen's like, oh, you're coming with me. And pulls her with her. And it's just so now you have this situation where Ripley's trying to climb up with this Queen trapped under this mech suit. And they're trying to hit the thing, and they hit it, and then the airlock's going off, and they're trying to crawl. Guys, how great is this?
It's so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that. When she fell down with that thing, I was like, how has this not been spoiled for me, for one? I've seen so many things about this, her in the mech suit and everything,
Yeah.
Halloween costumes. I mean, they reference it on Bob's Burgers, probably countless other things.
Yeah, it's in the pop culture zeitgeist, yeah.
Yes, but seeing it, seeing her, she starts to go down, and her reaction is so realistic. I was like, oh,
Oh!
I was holding on to my seat, oh my gosh, how is she gonna get out of there?
It's so good.
The vacuum situation, she opens the hatch. I was like, there's no way she would make it out.
Yes. She does, man. She does. She crawls through it.
Yeah.
Newt's hanging on for dear life. Bishop's in
so
two
is
halves.
Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
In two halves. Top half's just hanging on.
Bishop.
he's
When,
half
when it shows
what he
him,
used to be.
yes, when it shows the top half of him go sliding across the floor on its
so
own,
cool. Yeah.
I was like, what? How did they do that?
It's great. Yeah.
Looks so good. And then I was almost crying when he grabbed her. I was like, that
Yeah.
brought tears to my eyes. He is saving her right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy cow.
Doing what he needs
Awesome.
to. Great stuff. Yep. And there we have it. The Queen is dead. Long live the Queen. And then we wrap up with the sleep. Guys, James Cameron's Aliens. What are we thinking? Derek,
Am I
you
supposed
can
to go?
first. You always go first.
Um,
You look like just a floating head, by the way. Like just a face. You look like just a face in a couch.
Thank you. I do what
I can barely even see you. You're only
At least
this
it
big
doesn't
on
have
my
plastic
screen.
on it.
Derek
I
is
know.
tiny on my screen.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like I said, this movie, when I think of Alien or Aliens, this is the movie I think about. And
Yeah.
it was probably the one that I watched the most growing up. Now I haven't seen this movie in forever, but this movie looked like $1 million, and its budget was probably a couple million, so that makes sense. That's not always the
Its
case.
its budget was actually 18.5 million, and it made 183 million.
But I think it really comes down to one, um, like the aesthetics, the environment that they are in, especially when they're going from like the human quarters to like where the aliens have kind of nested, and then the look of the aliens. Those aliens are suits, really, but like they're not CGI. They're not like they look so good. If you were to, I'm sure there were times on set where the crew had to be like a little freaked out because those things look so good. And there's the scene, like the first real time we get to see the alien, how it's like just kind of on the wall, and
Hmm.
you get the close up of the person, and then you
Yeah.
just see it like unfold, and you're just like,
Yeah,
yep, this is an alien movie. um, those things are so great. I had a ton of fun watching this movie. This movie is so good. I'm gonna give this
yeah,
movie a solid 8.
Dang, 8. I'm
yeah.
thinking,
There's Lydia. Before you go, there's actually one thing Derek mentioned that I wanted to mention, which was yeah, the design of when they're in the queen when they start to go into like the aliens area and we see like the nast, like that cool fucking the aliens and habitat is great set design. It's so cool. Forgot to mention that.
Oh, I got
Um,
one more thing that we didn't mention, and I thought it was really great at the very end after like she's shoved the alien out of the airlock. Man, it's kind of I almost started to well up a little bit when Newt called her mom.
mhm.
Made me
yeah,
want to cry.
yeah, me
It was a
too.
touching moment.
When
Yes.
when uh the Lance Hendrickson's character was like not bad for a human. I was like,
Yeah.
I just like with tears came to my eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, that was good.
So Lydia, what do you think of
Yes.
James Cameron's Aliens?
I think I'm gonna have to give this one a 10. I was thinking about it and I was like, well, is it like a classic like Halloween or Jaws? And I was like, for me, I feel like this is up there. Like, this is a good movie. Like, I had a blast watching it. I really have no complaints. I think they put so much like thought into this movie and it shows. You know, this movie was made with love, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that James Cameron stepped into somebody else's franchise that Ridley Scott had developed. He Alien is a Ridley Scott movie and it's meticulously made and it's beautiful. And James Cameron's like, hey, so I wonder what that movie would be like if it was just the balls to the walls action film with some thrills and scares. And it's a testament to fucking Cameron that he just was able to pull that off. Um, so yeah, I this movie's up there for me. It's 9, 10 range. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. It's great. It's a great movie. It rips. It's just so fun to watch. It's one that you can put in and you're just gonna have a good time. Um, I mean, the first two Alien movies are stone cold classics. You can't go wrong with either of them. It depends on what mood you're in.
Hmm.
Do you want your feast, which would be Alien, or do you want your dessert, which is Aliens? It's like, do you want your hearty meal or do you want your sweet treat? Because that's kind of
Yes.
where their differences lie. But I adore Aliens. I think it's awesome. Rips. James Cameron, just love him. Wish that he made movies like this still instead of no shade on Avatar. But do we really need 17, James? Do we really need 17? Can't
Haven't
we
they only
just?
made 2?
Yeah, but he's making like four more, Derek. He's like going to just make Avatar movies for the rest of his career, which is wild to me when James Cameron can make anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, Jim Cameron's one of the best to do it. He can do whatever he wants. That's what he wants to spend his life doing. Good on you. You hang out with Pandora and those blue bastards. At least you gave us aliens. In the Terminator and Terminator
And
2.
so many good movies.
Titanic. You know, The Abyss. True Lies. All great films. Fuck, I wish we could do True Lies in this podcast because I'd give it a 12 out of 10 because it's excellent.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. We need to throw some action movies in here. That's why I have so much fun with this one because I really do love action movies.
Yeah, this is a fun one. It's not as scary as Alien. But it's way more action packed, obviously. And just a fun movie. So guys, it's time to Akanize aliens. Who would the great Tom Atkins play?
Thrill me.
In
Man.
Alien.
Dude, he would definitely play the one guy. The
Nailed it.
he would definitely play. You know what? We should start a new thing. We should see if the audience can pick out, like, give us the time stamp of when I fart.
Well, I don't think anyone will miss that one.
That was pretty blatantly obvious, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
It literally stopped the show dead in its tracks.
Are you okay?
He's like, I think you should play.
Well,
You
anyway,
should play before you interrupted it with your flatulence.
Michael Biehn. He should play
Hick-
his character
Hicks.
Hicks.
He'd be a good Hicks, yeah. I mean, I love Michael Biehn, but I'd see him as Hicks. He'd be badass, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, Ripley would definitely be all about him, for sure.
You'd have the spaceship windows blowing out.
There'd be just some steam on those windows, boy. When they're in their sleep pods, they'd sleep in the same one, and it would just be all steamy.
Yeah.
All right. So, Derek. Wait, no. Whose turn is it to pick?
It's mine.
It is
It's
Derek.
Derek's.
I was just hoping it was yours.
I was hoping it was too. When you questioned it, I was like, ah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I knew it
it's
was
mine.
his because you picked Wishmaster. Or Derek picked Wishmaster.
Yeah. I
Yep.
picked Urban Legend.
Urban Legend, and then I did this, so it's Derek turning in, unfortunately.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Well, you did pick Wishmaster last time. That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
You know,
let me
Derek,
see.
just a couple suggestions. The new Wolfman movie is out.
Ooh.
I got mine picked out, man. I don't need suggestions.
Ooh.
I tried, Lydia. I tried really hard.
You know what? I
Okay.
want an apology from you after this, just so you know.
After this.
I don't know. After that fart, I don't know if you can ever get an apology.
What, the fart?
The fart was wild.
All right,
We
so,
need an apology from you, I think.
guys. Excuse me, by the way. That's a very delayed excuse me, but I apologize that I flatulated in such a manner that it was disturbing to your ears.
Disturbing
So,
to everyone's ears.
check it out. Check it out. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
We're going back to 1992,
Oh my god.
where the rap scene was heating up. Grunge was yet to be born, but it was on the cusp. It was like right there.
What are you talking about?
And
The year
there was this
before I was
little
born.
movie that came out about a guy who marries a girl, then other stuff happens.
Mm.
You guys guess the movie?
A guy who
No, that
marries
was
a
one of the
girl.
worst descriptions to any
guy
film I've
who-
ever heard of. You talked about rap music and grunge for no reason, and then talked about marriage. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it's like really hard to like piece that together.
It's going to be so
1992.
obvious when I tell you what it is. You're going to be like,
Oh, I'm
did I
sure.
not think about it?
A guy who marries a girl in 1992.
All right. So this
My parents?
1992 film has a couple of stars attached to it. One is Goldie Hawn. The other is Bruce Willis. Still not coming?
A
No.
horror movie?
Yeah.
A horror movie.
And the other one is
With
Meryl Streep.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, that's not a horror movie, Derek.
Yeah, it is.
He's talking about Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her,
First
yeah.
off,
Just,
I really
100%.
thought that you would be
100%
happy about this.
Not a horror movie.
Oh,
A
it
million
is
percent.
horror. It's horror adjacent.
And the very, loosest of adjacentment.
Oh, give me a break. Let me read off some of these ones that we've watched that actually mostly of them are pretty solid horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Idle Hand, which that one was mine, so that's an awesome pick, so.
that's a horror movie.
Yeah, with some
How
comedy sprinkled in.
How is this not a horror movie to you guys? I don't understand.
Because it's
honestly
not
haven't
set
seen
to
it in so
scare
long.
at all. There's literally zero intent to scare.
They've
It's
got
literally-
people killing people, and they've got dead people coming back.
No, they got people not dying because they can't die. Don't get me wrong, we can do it if you want. I'm just saying that that's not a horror movie.
Nope. It's fine. It's fine.
We can do it because we can do Beetlejuice at some point. It's it's fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of more of like a Halloween movie, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
But if you want to do it,
nope.
Derek, we'll do it.
I don't want to do it anymore. I'm taking it back.
I wasn't saying I didn't want to do the movie. I just was confused because I was like, that's definitely not a horror movie.
Like, those are not even horror actors.
Yeah. I was like, the only horror movie Bruce Willis did is The Sixth Sense, and we've already done it.
Have we already done that?
Yeah.
So we are going instead.
Yeah,
We're
we
going to
give it
watch
like
a different
hints.
movie with Sean Astin. It's called
pick
The
the
Willies.
Goonies.
Nope, it's called The Willies from 1990.
What are you talking about?
Yep, that's what happens. The trailer looks great.
Are you punishing us because we pointed out your movie wasn't a horror movie?
Hey, I even
The
looked it up, and on
Willies.
IMDb it had labeled horror movie, and now we're watching The Willies.
What is the Willies?
It's an awesome movie. You're gonna really love it.
Oh man, it looks good. I do love Sean Astin.
Oh my god.
It's on Tubi.
Derek, let's just do Death Becomes Her.
Nope,
said
I
we
don't
can
want to do it. We're doing The Willies.
This does look scarier.
There's an old lady who's gonna cook her dog in the microwave.
Stop it. Okay, let's stop this whole thing. Let's do Death Becomes Her. It's
Nope,
fine.
we're doing The Willies. It's in the
doing
books. The Willies.
Have you ever seen this movie?
Nope,
How did you even
but I
find
will
it?
next week.
How did you find this movie?
I
It
googled
looks
worst
like
horror
they're-
movie of the 90s, and it was on.
There are like a ton of people in this. What the heck?
Oh my god, I wasn't trying to gatekeep. I just was making a joke about how little of a horror movie it is, because you were like, we got this really scary one, it's 1992. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh.
The Willies. Sean Astin. Brian Peck is the director.
Quit saying the Willies. Stop it. Oh. Oh, it hurts.
The Willies looks
Oh.
like Troll. You
Oh, God.
It looks. I mean, I guess maybe not exactly like Troll, but or even like what's our favorite Children of the Night.
Oh, hey, if it's another Children of the Night, that'll be a
I
Relief
think
for me.
that's the level that this is going to be on. Is
Ugh.
Children of the Night.
Children of the Night was almost there. It was almost there. It's a movie that could be remade and I think kind of become a banger if the
Yeah.
plot made more sense and they just kind of fleshed out a little bit more stuff. But
Yeah, but
the
you'd still have
plot
to have the mailman.
the
movie
mailman.
can't
We
be
would
made without the
100%.
mailman.
If we ever remade Children of the Night, we'd make it like a banger, a fun we'd lean into like the absurdity. We'd make it like a Army of Darkness style banger. And then we'd also have the mailman scene because it's the best fucking scene ever. Okay, guys. Next week, where's this fucking thing on? Tubi, you said?
Tubi.
Wait, so this came out in 1990,
Yep.
and Children of the Night came out in 91.
Oh man,
So they're really
bedfellows. They're bedfellows.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So next week, per Derek Lemaster, we are watching the 1990 classic Willy's. Which
I knew this was gonna happen.
we should have just let him pick Death Becomer, and we should have just made fun of it behind his back about how it's not a horror movie. Instead, we
Woulda,
put it
coulda,
on Front
shoulda.
Street because we thought we were friends and this was a safe space, Leah. We thought we could be honest. But now we know. All right, guys. Next week, The Willies with Sean Astin. I guess. It's on Tubi. Never heard of it. So this will be a first watch for all of us, I'm pretty sure. So be sure to watch that. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it with your friends. Comment down below on your thoughts on if you put the timestamp of when Derek farted, the first person that put the timestamp into Derek's fart will receive a message from us, and we will do something special. I don't know what we'll do yet. We'll have to talk about it, but we'll do something.
You know
for
what? You're going to get a free Scream Bloody Movies. No. That's Scream Bloody
Secret
Movies.
Admirer.
You're going to get a free Secret Admirer lanyard.
Yes.
There you go.
And you'll get to pick Derek's next movie.
Oh, there you go.
I have not
That was a
agreed
good
to
prize.
this.
Oh, look, Derek just turned into the Invisible Man. So put the timestamp of Derek's fart, and you'll get a Scream Bloody Movies lanyard, and maybe pick his next movie. Also, in the description is the Indiegogo. Go to it, check it out, donate to it if you can. If not, share it so other people can donate. So we got to make this movie. It's almost here. It's on the way. We have some big news coming up on that. We'll get to you next week. But I think that's all that we have for tonight. So thanks for sticking with us, guys. And for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream Bloody Movies.